Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Raw Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dix here. This is the first Monday Night Raw under the Triple H era, and Triple H did deliver like he did at SummerSlam. We'll talk about highlights and stuff where the Bloodline still emerged victorious with their titles in hand after their gruesome matches, including Roman Reigns going against Brock Lesnar in a barn burner of a match that we didn't see coming, but it happened at SummerSlam, that last man standing match. We'll talk about it coming up shortly. Also, too, a lot going on. Logan Paul emerged victorious at SummerSlam. He wants more. Plus, two, the return of Bayley, but she brings company along with her newfound company in Io Shirai, who calls her Io Sky, Dakota Kai, after we heard reports that Vince McMahon didn't really want that group to happen in the fold. But they're coming the crosshairs of women's champion Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. So we got a lot to talk about. Also, too, fresh matches right here. These are the fresh matches. The Usos defend the WWE Unified Tag Team Undisputed Championship against the Mysterios, coming out to win over the Judgment Day, as well as three triple threat matches. As you see Bobby Lashley in the center of the Raw logo, Dolph Ziggler taking on Tommaso Ciampa, taking on Chad Gable. Which one of these three men will emerge heading to meet whoever to meet Lashley next week on Raw? We'll get to that. But we start off Raw with former Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had suffered a injury. Becky Lynch talked about what she went through and what she dealt with when she went against Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair put up somewhat of a clinic, but it wasn't their best matchup to me. Their best matchup to me was this their match at WrestleMania. But Bayley returned. Well, we can show Bayley. Bayley returned, and Bayley sent some vengeance down. Bayley making sure her presence was felt at SummerSlam. Bayley made sure that she wanted to leave SummerSlam with some opportunity, and Bayley brought back in tow Io Shirai and Dakota Kai. We know earlier Becky Lynch had suffered a dislocated shoulder. We hope Becky Lynch is okay. But Becky Lynch right now, we can give you the reports right now. Um, if they show the picture, well, we were supposed to show it, but our camera was a little bit freeze. But as you see, Becky Lynch made a point that she's going to be out, but she embraced Bianca Belair during that SummerSlam match. If we can show it, the picture will show. But we're having issues. There we go. Bianca Belair and Bayley and Becky Lynch embracing each other, and now comes new blood into the women's division injected. Bayley brings Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, who Dakota Kai was released, but Io Shirai coming back into the forefront. She was almost on the verge of being out the door herself, but she came back. She came back with a vengeance. Um, Dakota Kai looking always grand and pretty, coming back with that pink hair. Dakota Kai is gonna mean business, and she's gonna mean business all right on a Raw brand. Well, women's champion Bianca Belair came out there, and Bianca Belair let it be known that she respect um Becky Lynch. Her and Becky Lynch got that newfound respect after what they had dealt with at SummerSlam. But that wasn't the case. We know earlier tonight, later on in the show, that Bianca Belair will go one on one against Io Shirai. One on one, Io Shirai and Bianca Belair will meet like they did in NXT, but they'll do it tonight on Raw. Well, speaking of that, we get started with a lot of the matches. AJ Styles went on in advance, defeating Mustafa Ali and The Miz to earn himself, advance himself in one of the triple threat matches to get himself where he needed to get at, and he did so at the end. So AJ Styles will meet the winner between the Ciampa, Gable, and Ziggler match. Plus two, Seth Rollins won his match over Montez Ford. Seth Rollins and Montez Ford, with their wives, were going against each other last night. So it kind of makes sense. um, plus two, Tommaso Ciampa won his match over um, Gable and Ziggler. He earned himself a shot with the Miz in his corner. AJ versus Ciampa. Winner meets Lashley. No one contender match. We'll get to that later on. Edge returned back to Raw ever since he made his shocking return last night at SummerSlam. Edge came back to help aid the Mysterios against the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day didn't see it coming, and I guess Edge had helped the Judgment Day out. Edge, looking forward to what he was saying. Edge making it clear that he ain't playing around, he ain't messing around. Edge came back with a vengeance, and he wants the Judgment Day. He wants to kill his own creation. He really thought that he brought the Judgment Day back to help them seek who they were, but he felt like he really made a bad mistake. And we'll talk about some mistakes later on in the show, what people thought about the Ric Flair last match stuff. So we'll talk about that. Well, we can tell you this. Um, what was that? Iro Shirai took on women's champion Bianca Belair in one of the decent match. The women has been being destructive as of late, and they made some chaos, and they did so whatsoever, leaving a statement, leaving a mark. Bayley is back on Raw, and Bayley with Io Shirai and Dakota Kai looking for trouble and looking to do something dangerous. So we're gonna do something dangerous in some way, some form, how. This rivalry between these six women, including Alexa Bliss and Asuka, who was had their match earlier to Io Shirai, Bayley, and them interrupted and destroyed the matchup. So these women are making an impact and making a statement one way or another. They're doing so later on in the show. So I'll tell you right now, these three women call themselves control, so they're gonna be in control. Maybe Bayley might get the women's championship, or one of these women might be the next women's champion. We'll see heading towards that match. Also, too, we told you about the Street Profits could be breaking up. We know this past Sunday, this past Saturday at SummerSlam, the Usos regained their tag team championship over the Street Profits, and they did so in good, devastating fashion. But the Usos heading up to the next in line, we'll talk about what the Usos they defended their tag team championships against the Mysterios. The Usos trying to prove their dominance as the most dominant tag team in WWE history, which I believe so. The Usos making a statement once again, being tag team champions. The Mysterios didn't have a chance against the Usos. The Usos proved that they're the number one top tag team commodity in WWE right now, and they are that. I give them that right now. Jimmy and Jay have proved themselves, and they could be up there with the conversation with the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, and the Legion of Doom. Who knows with them? But the ending of that match was Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day attacked uh, Dominic and left Dominic outlaying. Edge accidentally speared Dominic. He didn't want to do that, but Edge accidentally speared Dominic, leading towards more confusion, more chaos. So, like I said, Dominic Edge, Rey Mysterio gonna want some answers from Edge soon rather than later. So we'll see on how that's all going to play out. Plus, two, we just found out Becky Lynch's injury right now. Becky Lynch, after tonight's attack on Raw, escalated a separate shoulder suffering at SummerSlam. Becky Lynch is expected to be out for several months. So Becky Lynch out for several months due to a dislocated shoulder that she did at SummerSlam. Hopefully Becky Lynch recover soon and make a speedy recovery. Becky Lynch, one of the all-time greats. Make like I said, she making her babyface run, and that in turn could make sense for her against Ronda Rousey, who also made a you know what out herself at SummerSlam when Liv Morgan tricked her and got the win over Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey ain't forgot one bit. Ronda Rousey tried to take her anger, her frustration, her attitude out on the referee and Liv, proving the fact that Ronda Rousey got suspended and fined an undisclosed amount for attacking the official at SummerSlam. So we don't know what the attack is what Ronda Rousey did. But this could set up Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania Hollywood in April. So we'll see that. Plus two, more SummerSlam highlights. Brock Lesnar didn't leave with the championship, the undisputed championship, as Roman Reigns did put all the stops against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, that was a hell of a championship match between the two. Between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, that championship match with Brock Lesnar brought a tractor to plow the ring and made the ring look bent over in shape. But Roman retained his Universal Undisputed Championship. Now Roman looks forward to in 5 weeks next month, Labor Day weekend, Roman versus Drew for the Undisputed Championship. This should be the match that everyone's going to be talking about and buzzing about coming for Roman versus Drew. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more information on what's going on between these two men because this match really started at the WrestleMania Backlash to lead towards that. So, hey, it is what it is. All right, that ends the Raw Ring report. Let's move forward. Let's quickly move forward to wrestling hot topics. On wrestling hot topics, um, we've been hearing reports and rumors that Naomi and Sasha Banks could be returning back. Hopefully, that could be the case. Naomi and Sasha Banks, I would love to see them back, bring back new blood. What had happened that between them, and we hope that Naomi and Sasha Banks make that triumphant return and get their women's tag team championships back to the forefront, to the picture that they once was. So hopefully Naomi and Sasha Banks come back stronger and better than ever. Also, to Bayley, um, Seth Rollins talked about his wife that she's the greatest of all time, and Bayley laughing like always is. So Bayley's that laughing. Plus, two, Nature Boy Ric Flair had his last match. It was a star-studded event. Ric Flair um, coming out with the original big gold belt that he wore. Ric Flair wasn't in all the greatest shape in the world, but Ric Flair was able to manage to keep his composure and win the match. Hopefully, we'll probably get more details on Ric Flair tomorrow. Looks like a little bit more on what's going on. So I'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow and it's simple. Discuss it and we'll talk about too. Like I said, Ric Flair had his last match, so hopefully with that. Also, to a rising star to me, I've been following this dude for about a very long time. Carl Fredericks has announced that he's no longer part of New Japan. Carl Fredericks, to me, a blue chipper and could head either the NXT or AEW. I know he's close to QT Marshall, so likely he may go to AEW. I don't know. He don't want to be lost in the shuffle or something. He might be a future champion. If I had a company, he'll be one on my roster. I'll tell you that right now. Carl Phillips no longer part of New Japan. Also, too, Day One coming back to Atlanta for the pay per view again. Day One coming back. I guess they're gonna have all these Day Ones in Atlanta, so gonna have that be Brock Lesnar advertised. We don't know if that's Brock's final farewell. Hopefully, it's not. Brock Lesnar is attraction. He's been an attraction for a very long time, and hopefully, Brock Lesnar won't toot his hat for being his final rodeo and stuff. So, yeah, that was a lot. Even Seth Rollins made an appearance at SummerSlam, attacking Riddle and leaving Riddle on his back. So it's a lot going on. Logan Paul won his match at SummerSlam over the Miz. Impressive. Logan Paul probably can do this for a long time. I tell you that. AJ Styles made a rare appearance at SummerSlam. Yeah, so it's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's good to be in the world of WWE when you think about it. The Triple H era, and hopefully the Triple H era will continue with his tag team partner Shawn Michaels' vision on NXT and Tony Khan on Wednesdays and Triple H on Friday for SmackDown. All right, so that's going to end the pro wrestling show. We're going to end it with Dominic Mysterio getting a spear by Edge inadvertently. Hopefully, Edge will explain that it was just an accident, and Ray would kind of understand. So, for me being Kendra Dix saying so long and thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show. We'll see you tomorrow for the NXT Ring Report. See you later. Peace.